give them jug band music. It seems to make them feel just fine.
That intro song feels kind of corny already. Maybe I should change it. Alright, hey everybody. Welcome to the first actual episode of Name 5 Albums. I'm your host, Abby Hannah. If you're not totally sure what we do on here, that's fine, because neither am I at the moment. I'm still working on a few things here and there, but I do hope that you stay along for the ride. If nothing else, this podcast is all about music and all the good and bad ways it affects us in our daily lives. First, I'll talk a little bit about the music I'm listening to at the moment, and choose an artist I've especially taken to lately, and then I'll have a musical guest on talking about their own experience of music. Now that I've gotten the awkward and mechanical part out of the way, let's begin. If you can guess which one that is.
Keep moving on.
I'll link the playlist below. Every song on it is golden, and a lot of them are from wildly different times in music history. I guess it goes to show that we enjoy singing about weed. Also, according to stereogum.com, 75% of the 40,000 plus playlists that were made on 420 were made by men, which is evident in the fact that while all the songs on that playlist absolutely bang, they're all songs by men. So what I've done is created a little 20-song all-female playlist for people who might need a break from
I only
that.
smoke girl blunt. I suggest you don't try me. I'm real unstable when I'm off that YG. Half I tell their friends don't mind me. I stand 5'3" and I'm real feisty. What I need.
Not that women really need representation in playlists about drugs, but equality is equality. And that actually brings me to my first artist of the episode, in part inspired by this weed holiday. Peter Tosh. One of his songs is on that playlist called Legalize It. I'm sure that you've heard it before. Tosh was born Winston Hubert McIntosh, we'd call him a name change, in Jamaica in 1944, and he lived in a slum of Westmoreland with his mother. When he was 15, he picked up guitar and met his vocal teacher Joe Higgs, who would eventually introduce him to none other than Bob Marley himself, along with Bunny Wailer, to form the band The Wailers. According to Bunny, it was Tosh who the other members of the band really learned how to play instruments from, even Bob Marley. They actually began their fame with a ska hit called Simmer Down in 1965. A few years later, after Marley had spent some time in the US working at a Chrysler factory in Delaware, and Bunny and Tosh had become Rastafarians, the band switched to a more rock-steady type of music, which was a successor of ska and a precursor to reggae, developed in the late 1960s in Jamaica. After they wrote a few songs like Soul Rebel for American singer Johnny Nash and producer Lee Perry, they had wound up creating the genre of reggae. After Tosh left the Wailers, he went on to have an awesome solo career, with Legalize It still being one of the most famous songs among weed smokers and endorsers. But he wasn't just a singer, he gave lectures about legalization at his concerts and called out politicians for not doing anything. This actually landed him in police custody after Bob Marley's One Love Peace concert in 1978, when he was beaten severely in jail. Then in 1984, he went on a self-imposed exile to South Africa, where he experimented with traditional medicine men and participated in a lot of anti-apartheid events like concerts. He could also ride a unicycle, and was once gifted a guitar shaped like an M16 rifle. He died in 1987 when a group of gunmen held him hostage at his house in Jamaica and eventually shot him in the head. But his legacy is still incredibly palpable. To this day, people all over the world celebrate International Peter Tosh Day on April 20th, in honor of his philosophy of responsible cannabis consumption for medicinal and spiritual health benefits.
You carry down yourself too deep. I said you in a mama land too long. We gonna
Now I'd like to welcome my first guest on this podcast, Nick Murner. He's a UMass Amherst engineering student and a local musician who performs pretty much every week, every Tuesday. Nick, who are you? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello. All right, yeah, other than what Abby just said, I've been playing guitar since I was a sophomore. I picked it up when I was a freshman, but I didn't take it that seriously. My first time I performed with it was sophomore year. I organized some open mic events.
Ooh, that's so fun. Tell me about those.
Yeah, well, so there's a living community in Amherst,
Okay.
or in UMass Amherst. It's called Butterfield, and they do Butterfield Coffee House. That's the name of the event. It was actually a really interesting story because the faculty sponsor ended up dropping out, and then we had to ask for more money, but it was a big story. We managed to put it on. Went well. A bunch of people showed up, and I played Don't Think Twice, It's All Right by Bob Dylan.
Oh, Bob Dylan! I
Good old Bob
heard
Dylan.
somewhere that you're a Bob Dylan fan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we may have discussed it.
we may have discussed it. Nick and I actually met at one of these open mics he set up at the one at Bishop's Lounge in Northampton, Massachusetts,
Great
where
spot.
I'm from. We met because I asked him where the bathroom was because I thought he worked at the bar. And he actually told me where it was and then clarified later that he did not work there and ended up doing a few songs. So it's one of the cool things that you can do around like Western Massachusetts is like a lot of open mics, not just on Tuesdays.
Yeah, there's other ones I want to go to once I have the time.
The time. So, where are you from?
I'm not really from anywhere. I was born in Chicago.
that was a Bob Dylan-esque answer.
Sorry, it's the truth.
Yeah,
I was born in Chicago.
I'm not from anywhere.
Don't remember
The
it.
wind.
We moved from Chicago by the time I was 2. Lived in Providence, Rhode Island. I don't remember much of it because we were gone from there by the time I was 6. Lived in Lincoln, Rhode Island for like 3 years.
Cool.
I remember like my first best friend there, Luke.
Lincoln, Rhode Island. Wow.
Yep.
I've
Right next to
never-
Providence. It's
I've
maybe
never
like,
heard of it.
it's close-ish to Providence. But then we left there.
Well, it would be closest to Providence because Rhode Island's like
Well, yeah, that's a good
not
point.
very big.
That's a good
not
point.
very big to begin with.
Yeah.
That's cool though, Chicago.
Yeah,
Much.
don't remember any of it. And then from Providence to Lincoln, Lincoln to Wilbraham, Wilbraham to Shrewsbury.
So where would you say you like grew up? I guess then.
I don't know.
Spent the majority of your
My
life.
childhood, like Tot's childhood was
Yeah.
Rhode Island. I remember like none of it. It was weird because I would spend every day in Connecticut going to school. My parents drove me up there for school. So
Wow. Nice.
yeah, they wanted me to be way more successful at life than I was. And then Wilbraham would be like where a lot of my good like middle schooly childhood memories are. And then high school was Worcester.
So what's your experience with music when you were growing up? Like, did you play? How long have you played guitar?
Picked it up sophomore year, but I've always wanted to do music. I just never really it's weird when you look back, you know, as someone who kind of like found a part of themselves through playing music. I always loved music, especially like from my dad and my mom, even though they really restricted the music I could listen to.
Why? What do you mean?
I mean, I could listen to country music radio because it's, good Christian music.
Oh,
and then,
right. Because you grew up a Catholic boy, is that
Yes.
correct?
Yeah.
Yes. Did that have any kind of I guess it did have influence on your music taste. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was just that I didn't really get to experiment with music until like I was 19.
They didn't let you do anything?
That's country music radio.
Okay.
Eagles, Johnny Cash.
Classic, I guess, Christian rock at this point.
Yeah, and then like one or two other people my dad would listen to, Sheryl Crow.
Nice.
Nora
So like
Jones.
the Eagles and Sheryl Crow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but it was always something I liked and
Yeah.
knew I liked. I had this recurring dream when I was a kid where like, I don't know if you've ever done this, but if I'm reading a story or a book, watching a movie, I'll invent a character of my own that I like jump in the story.
It's also very Bob Dylan-esque, I'd like
Is
to
it?
point out.
Okay, cool. And if it was like a fantasy world, which is a lot of the stuff I would read about, my superpower was always that if I was listening to music, I could like vibrate the ground and stuff. And I would
Okay. No, I dig it. Nice.
yeah.
Okay.
And like I always loved it. I just didn't really have the confidence to be like I could do this. And then found that confidence somewhere along the way, I guess.
Wow. So like when you were little, I guess your favorite bands would be like limited. But what were
Yeah.
your like favorite things to listen to?
I mean, I like Johnny Cash because it was a way to connect with my dad.
Mm-hmm. You hit that low baritone?
No.
Ah.
No, I can try, but my dad
You'll
can't.
get there.
I mean, I can hit some of them, but yeah, mostly it was just to connect with my parents, especially my mom, but my dad too. They're very reserved people, so it was always like, oh man, I would always ask them like,
really,
what did you used to
Catholics
listen
are
to?
such famously open.
Yeah,
and,
it's weird. It's weird that I had that odd
accepting.
experience.
Yeah, that's so odd. So like, what would be like a song or two that reminds you of like the good old days, I guess?
Oh yeah, so you got Taking the Long Way Home. I think it's just called The Long Way Home.
Take Supertramp?
No, Nora Jones.
Is there a light up ahead? I can't hold on very long. Forgive me, pretty baby, but I always take a long way home. Money's just sound.
Okay.
It's a very Johnny Cash sounding song. It's like, boom,
Nora Jones.
Yeah.
Doing Johnny Cash. That's interesting. I like that.
She's a big Johnny Cash fan. She does a bunch of covers.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah. But it's a very beautiful song, and the whole point is she said, I always take the long way home. There's nothing I can do.
Yeah, okay, so Taking the Long Way Home.
And then
Jones.
this kind of, that would be one that I would listen to in the car a lot with my dad. And then...
Was your dad a Nora Jones fan?
Just that album.
Just the one album?
Carnival Town, yeah.
Only Carnival Town.
Yeah, he didn't...
Did not accept the other...
He didn't... He was just like, I don't have time,
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he was a very...
This album I have time for, but don't talk to me.
He doesn't have time for
albums.
discovering any new music, no.
Oh, okay.
I figured it out when I was whatever age. This is the music I like. Yeah, I like the Titanic soundtrack and stuff.
I'm glad you did. I'm glad you discovered new music.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
And then...
albeit a little late at 19.
Yeah.
But
if you know The Strokes, there's The Way It Is. There's specifically the kind of guitar middle part where it's just the guitar and it sounds...
You want to do a little bit of it?
It sounds like... I could make it up.
Like, I don't know how it goes.
It goes like... The tone is great. It makes you think of high school and, driving around in your first car and being like...
Dude, those songs are awesome. I love that. When it finally turns to summer and you're like, okay, I can drive with the windows down again. You listen to all your old high school music, you're like, yeah, graduation, fuck you. Yeah. Oh, it's great. That reminiscing. Wow.
Sounds like freedom.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, so number 1, Taking the Long Way Home, Nora Jones. Number 2, The Strokes.
Yeah, Way It Is. Off of Room on Fire, second album.
Wow. Yeah. Alrighty. So I know that you know that Stephen King is like one of my favorite authors of all time.
Yep.
He has this nice thing about he likes when people ingest media twice. So like if you watch a movie when you're young, you revisit it when you're older and you're like, oh shit, I didn't realize they made those sex jokes. Or, like anything like, I didn't realize that was so deep. I didn't realize that was... Yeah, so the first time you go through it, you just watch it. And as he says, he likes to be in your face as an author. So he just wants you to engage in it. But the second time you go through it, it's more interpretive. You kind of understand things more. Do you feel that way with any sort of songs that you find from your childhood, I guess?
Yeah. I mean, I kind of feel that way about music in general. Mm-hmm. I just listen to it differently as someone who can actually play a little bit now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Oh, yeah. Oh, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll get into the play.
We'll get into it. But let me think. Specifically, songs that have hit me. Oh, man. I'm always listening to so much music and it's rotating all the time. Mm-hmm. So it's hard for me to find a specific example of that. I mean, we're probably going to hit this note a lot, so I don't want to say it too many times, but Bob Dylan is a big one.
Yeah.
I mean, you can hear something different every time you listen to his stuff.
I mean, right? That's the whole beauty of Bob Dylan. I mean, my parents, I was growing up, my parents never let me listen to Bob Dylan. And because they were like, oh, his voice is terrible. His voice is just awful. Have you ever heard him sing? And I was like, okay. Whatever. I'm not going to listen to Bob Dylan as a 9-year-old. But when I got into college, I, heard him sing, and I was like, wow, maybe he doesn't have the greatest voice, but he might have the greatest lyrics.
Definitely doesn't have the greatest voice.
He might have the greatest lyrics of all time, though. And he might have, I mean, he's wonderful.
Yeah.
And I know he's such a cliche inspiration, but, he should be, I think.
Mm-hmm.
He is that deep, you know?
Yeah, he's good. He's good.
Like, people are like, oh, Bob Dylan, come on, don't be so funny. No, but he is, though.
Yeah.
And he doesn't give a shit, which is great.
Re-listening to the Beatles has been another one.
Yeah.
And kind of discovering them in the first place.
Oh, yeah, that was my fault, right?
Yeah,
yes,
it was the
my
George
fault
Harrison
directly.
documentary that helped.
Oh, yes, Living in the Material World.
Yeah,
You
I
watched
thought it was going to be about
3
Madonna.
hours. Oh, my God. Yeah, oh, my God. Yeah, that 3-hour long one that we sat through. It was good. It was good. It's just long. Beatles are a late discovery for you, then.
Yeah, I mean, it was like discovering things you've heard a million times. Like,
Right.
I listened to Abbey Road. I'd heard Oh Darling before. I'd heard,
Oh, yeah, everyone has, right?
yeah, all those,
I Want to
the
Hold
big
Your
songs.
Hand.
Yeah.
All the ones on the radio when you're young.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'd say mostly, though, it's like, there are certain lyrics that hit you harder and whatever, but
Mm-hmm.
mostly just like the way you listen to music now. I listen more to the way it sounds.
Mm-hmm.
And the feeling behind it, it's a little easier to settle into.
Right.
Because a lot of the themes are, kind of takes an adult to really dive into them.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're a kid, you're like, this isn't fun.
Yeah, no, that's so true. Because when did you start playing guitar and performing and singing?
I started playing guitar freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
Sophomore year, took it a
Of
little more
college.
seriously. Yes, of college. Freshman year of college, picked it up. I didn't take it that serious. I just wanted to make some friends.
That's the motivation? Like,
Yes.
maybe if I play guitar.
I'll be cool, and
I'll
then
be
people will talk to
cool.
me. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, here's Wonderwall. by
No, I would
Oasis.
never play Wonderwall. I hate that song. I hate it.
Thank God.
It's awful. Awful.
awful.
I like Oasis. I hate that song, though.
How was your first open mic experience? Were you like really nervous, or was
I
it...
lost my capo
Oh,
day
no.
before, like minutes before. So I was
No.
like, oh man. So I was all set to be like, ain't no use to sit and wonder why, babe. And then I get there, there's no capo. So I'm like, ain't no
Key
use to
change.
sit and wonder why, babe. I had to play it
Oh,
open.
no.
But it was fine. Everybody
worked
shut
out.
up when I started singing. So I was like, maybe I can do this.
Oh. Is that the only song you did? Don't Think Twice, It's Alright.
I did a Johnny Cash song called I Don't Know Where I'm Bound, which was a cool story with that one.
Yep.
I don't know where I'm bound. Can't stand locks, bars, or doors, mean cops, insanity, and wars. Gotta find a place of peace, till then my traveling won't cease. But I don't know where I'm bound. There's gotta be a place.
Tell me.
He played it at San Quentin prison, maximum security prison.
Just
One of his
hang out.
famous prison performances.
Yeah.
And one of the prisoners sent lyrics and sheet music. And he was like, I can't read sheet music, but I like the lyrics. So it's a very straightforward song.
You know, the
I don't
Beatles
know where
couldn't
I'm
read-
bound.
Beatles couldn't read sheet music.
So yeah, I messed around with it for a little bit after that sophomore year experience,
Mm-hmm.
on and off, and then going through your whole self-discovery thing in college, and then
Oh, typical, yeah.
yeah,
Gotta find yourself. No, it's so true.
and so I would start doing it. I'd feel great, and then I wouldn't do it
Mm-hmm.
for a while, and then this last Christmas I started doing it every Tuesday. It's been great.
Yes. I know you're so much better at holding to that than I am.
Yeah.
But it's so wonderful to see, though. It's so wonderful to see like so many different artists. Like everyone brings their own thing to the table, and even you do. Like you do a few originals. Is that right?
Yeah, I started.
written-
Everybody brought originals, and I was
Mhm.
like, I need to bring some originals.
Of
'cause
course.
everybody else is doing it. It's something I always wanted to do, but the fact that the environment was very like, bring an original song. They're very about that. That was like a little kick in the ass, and I was like, okay.
It's what you need.
I should at least try it because it's a very cool environment there. Like,
They're so nice.
yeah, like this one dude got up, walks up, he's like, just so you guys know, I'm high. And he was high the whole time. He had this acoustic
Wow.
guitar. He slammed it way too hard. Frets are buzzing. He's doing like deep-throated metal screams. Objectively awful to listen to.
Yeah.
And everybody's like,
Let's go. Yes, I love it.
speak
Perfect.
your truth.
That's my whole thing with this podcast is, there's no bad music. It's good
Really?
music
So I
for
say, if I
everyone.
come in and I say, I listen to Old Town Road on repeat all day.
That is what you like, and so it's good.
All right.
Okay, so this is a good part. So what don't you like? What music do you hate?
I hate what I describe right now as music that doesn't know what it is. Specifically,
Ooh.
like,
Bold statement.
yeah, like,
Bold statement.
like you'll get people who call themselves rappers, but they don't
Oh,
rap.
God.
They don't rap, right? They're not actually rapping. They're not playing with rhythms. They're not doing any inventive rhyming. They're not saying anything clever.
Aw, like who? Come on.
Post Malone doesn't really rap, but he can sing. It's like, what, you didn't even make the beat. The beat couldn't have taken longer than 30 minutes to make on your computer. Like, where's the passion? I'm not getting any feeling here.
Oh, okay. That's a bold statement. What about like Gambino? What about all
I
those?
love Childish Gambino. I mean, you can tell that
he's coming out with the good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell that
this is America.
He takes himself seriously. He takes his craft seriously.
He's got it.
And there's nothing wrong with making pop music, but it's like, put something on the table.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You know?
All
like,
right, so...
like, for example, perfect example of that song, of that kind of song, is Mo Bamba.
You know,
there's nothing going on there.
Actually, I don't want to flex, but I've never heard Mo Bamba.
That's good.
Which is not... I just don't... I can't.
16-year-old. They check it to 10.
I got calls calling. The young Shaq was fall. Where's Ollie? With them dogs.
It's, if you're in a crowd of people, it's very easy to catch on to and like get lit to, I guess.
Which is a good thing, you know, if you're in, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love, you know, songs that bring the frat party together, you know what I mean? Everyone's like, yeah, everyone plays this song. It's either Mo Bamba or Sicko Mode.
Yeah.
Is
I mean,
the other one
I mean, I can mess with it, but like...
I can dig it, but not...
Yeah, I mean, I just don't...
Okay. Alrighty.
I mean, just personal taste, of course.
Oh, yeah. So, like, a few songs, like, everybody seems to, like, love, you can't get into...
Oh, there's this...
Mo Bamba as one.
Mo Bamba, I don't like... There's this Travis Scott worked with Youngblood and Halsey, who... Travis Scott, great drummer. Halsey can write pop.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I liked Badlands well enough.
I'm just taking all these steps up in your mind. Talking love, but I can't even read the signs. I would so much soul fall up in my time.
Youngblood, I don't dislike Youngblood. They got a couple good ones. But like it all came together in this just disgusting medley of like, there was just no art about the way that it was produced. Like all the sounds didn't really work together. It was just completely and totally uninteresting to listen to. I remember listening to it, and it had like 250 million plays or something. It's not gonna. No one's gonna be talking about this song in 10 years.
That seems to be a trend, though. You know, like I mean, a lot of pop music just seems to be kind of coming and going with like a few exceptions here and there. But it kind of seems like a lot of older songs do have a lot more pull, and a lot of more people remember them.
Yeah, my theory is that
they've been around longer too. Yeah. So of course, you know. Yeah.
My theory is that there was just as much awful music coming out in the day.
All right,
just no one remembered it.
Maybe. So let me ask you this: do you think like Mo Bamba, or for example, will be remembered in maybe like 30 years? Not necessarily as like a good song, but do you think it will be remembered?
I think there will be people who will be like, yeah, you know, I threw down to that song.
Yeah, I did in my youth. Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
But it's not going to be somebody's not going to be like, oh, turn that up.
No? Okay.
Maybe they will.
Maybe for the nostalgia.
I mean, 10 years from now, yes. 20 years from now, I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. All right, so this is kind of like where we get into it, right? So this is like the big one. So how much influence do you think the music that you've listened to has on your life? And like, I don't know, the people you meet, the choices you make.
The most possible it could. I study engineering because it's what I decided to study coming out of college.
Right.
And I'm almost done with my degree. I'm not going to not graduate.
Right.
I'm not good enough at music to pay the bills. But if someone was like gun to your head.
Don't say that.
What?
Don't say that. Oh, you're not good enough to music.
Not yet.
Oh, not yet. Okay.
But if someone was like gun to your head, you either have to quit your job and your guitar is fine, or I break all your guitars, you can never play guitar again, or sing again, but you keep your job. I'd be like, all right, well, I'll figure it out with my guitars. The fact that I can listen and understand to music in the way that I understand it, that it affects me the way it does, and that I can put some of that into some of my own music and I've always wanted to write songs, and the fact that I can bring some of that out, I mean, that's what I'm working for. My job will be so that I can pay the bills to work on that. It's the reason that I smile, I guess. I don't know. It's the point of getting up.
How much do you think like other people have influenced your music taste?
A lot. I love listening to other people's music
and stuff. Yeah. And are you one of those guys who's like, someone sends you a song and right away you listen to it.
Yeah. And I'm always like, I'll say to somebody, play me like your weirdest song. Or like, I love that Spotify does these top 100 stuff. Because I'll be like,
shout out to Spotify.
Yeah, let me listen to your top 100 songs of this year. And there's no judgment when you do that. Like if somebody says, yo, I listen to just Mo Bamba all the time, I'd be like, all right.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, there's no way that you alone, one person, can discover all the music that you would hear and like.
Yeah, exactly. Can't just use YouTube. But some of the best music recommendations I've gotten are from just like my friends that have just been like, hey, check out this album.
Other people are good. And the Spotify Discover page, once in a while. Like I listen to all 30 songs every week.
The Discover Weekly.
Yeah. And
they're all right.
I'll save one song every 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, I'm really glad that I heard that song.
Yeah.
But the rest of them are like, eh. But yeah, I'd say the most possible influence it could have. It has. Music does.
Yeah. Do you ever do you listen to the radio at all?
Yeah. I listen to WMUA, great station.
Yeah. Shout out.
They always are playing some interesting stuff.
Right. So getting even more into it, music's always been kind of like a reflection of like, you know, what we're feeling, our culture, kind of just like what we kind of perceive day to day.
Yeah,
whether
that's
it's
definitely
like
true.
Current issues, whatever, personal issues. So how effective do you think music is for like enacting change? Can you talk about an instance where you think it has led to change before, like personal, political, whatever?
Personally, yeah. Some of my biggest moments have been, my biggest moments of change have been to music. I was like, I didn't know that I wanted to make music. I didn't know that yet. I just knew that I wasn't really like, I was studying engineering and I was like, I mean, I can do this. I can pass these classes. I can do well. But I'd had a couple internship experiences and then came back to school and I was like, God, like this is not the way I want my life to go, you know?
Yeah.
And I felt trapped in it because I was like, I mean, I'm 3 years in. I have to get the degree. Not have to, but I'm going to.
I get that.
And I was like stuck in it. It was very like kind of locked in. When you're 21 and you're having this moment, like, man, you know, when I was 16, 17, I didn't think I was going to be here feeling this way. But one of my good analogies that I like to keep going when I have hard times is like if you break your leg, right? Your leg hurts. And if you try and walk on your leg, your body's going to be like, no, this hurts, right?
Right.
You're stepping on your leg. It's injured. You know, you need to let this heal. And if you have emotional pain, you need to experience it. Listening to Bob Dylan stuff has been big.
He does make you think about your life a lot. I mean, he just said what I was thinking, you know?
Yeah, he doesn't pull any punches either.
He doesn't. He says, you know, you can tell the truth and you can tell the untruth. And it's all just as well.
Yeah.
He was pretty much the face of rebellion for a long time there, at least in the United States.
Yeah, that gets back to what you were saying, I think. Like, yeah, so music has had a personal impact of change in my life.
Yeah.
But in terms of societal change...
Oh, society.
I don't think you can credit music alone.
Yeah.
Like, there has to be...
Oh, of
like,
course.
the 60s were... 60s to 70s was a great time in American history.
Musically.
Musically. And economically. Obviously, there was huge issues that needed to happen.
I mean, and things that did get changed.
Yes, but I think
women's movement, civil rights movement, we did a lot.
Yeah.
We didn't do a lot, but we did a lot.
Yeah.
We did a lot.
I think it was a great time to be an American on the whole. And I think that opened up. People are like, oh, we're kind of living in the dream that maybe
American
people were
dream.
dreaming back in 1776. And here it is. We're living it, but not everybody's living it, you know?
Yeah.
And we have to make some changes. But I think
But music can be a huge motivator for people
Yes.
to want to do that.
I think it can, but I think that it's mostly just because it gets the outside in, or the inside out, rather.
Well, yeah, that's true.
If there's something that you're really feeling because of the situation, it can get it out. But I'd say at the end of the day, it's people that change. And you got to make it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Like, for me, I would say, like, people who make the best music, it's because they have something to say.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, you made me think of this. Like, pop music has always been pop. Even, like, in the 50s, pop music was like, hey, yo, everything's great, you know? Or whatever the...
And pop music's always been fun, but it's always been fake.
Yes. It's always been fun. It's always been meant to entertain.
Not real. Entertainment, yes.
Yeah. But, like, I don't know, like, listening to the pop now... Well,
do you think we're doomed?
No, I don't think we're doomed, but I just don't like to listen to music that is self-glorifying.
Okay.
I mean,
yeah, talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah. Okay, here's what I'm getting at. I don't want to come down too hard on like hustle culture, right? Like there are people who started from the streets and rapped their way up
right,
to
and
where they are
produce
now.
their own music,
And you can
hear
that.
goes into it.
You can hear that. They're talking about what they have, but the point is like, I got it all my own way, and that's good.
Yeah,
but
of course.
Now I feel like it's just like, I have lots of money.
Yeah, kind of is.
Okay, cool.
Like, thanks. Let's hear a new story. Like, it is great. You're right. It's great to like kind of like, I don't know anyone who sits at home in their room and listens to pop music. You know what I mean? It's a social thing. It's like a fantasy, like, yeah, let's all get drunk tonight, and like, this is the best night of our lives, and like, Flow Rida is playing, you know, and like, great, and we're gonna live forever.
Flow Rida,
but then it ends, you know, it's great, it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, what message is it sending?
Yeah, for sure.
Distraction. We've always been distracted by music.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just not a big into materialism guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't like when
I'm just
the
above
point.
capitalism. Okay, so
Guilty pleasure time.
one of my things with the show is that we're getting rid of the idea of guilty pleasure music, because you shouldn't feel guilty about what you listen to. And so I've asked everyone to kind of come up with their 3 songs that they used to label guilty pleasure that now they will proudly tell anyone they listen to, no matter how embarrassing they thought it was before.
Right on.
So, number 3.
I Kissed a Girl, Katy Perry.
Oh, wait, that's interesting. That's a pop song.
Yeah, I love that. I'm not against pop. Yeah, I Kissed a Girl by Katy Perry. Mm-hmm. Total jam, very catchy.
I mean, wonderful, so catchy, right?
Oh, yeah. There were people that were mad, too, because it's just like, don't corrupt my children.
Yeah.
My parents were like...
Yeah, that's the other part of it, isn't it?
My parents were like, I don't want my daughter listening to that.
Yeah.
Like, they were like,
wow.
I remember when it came out.
They said that?
Yeah, they were like, no, that's not okay. We don't want that on the waves.
Wow. What did your sister say?
She was too young to say anything.
Does she like it now?
Maybe. I don't know. 2. Oh, yeah. I'm not guilty about it. I don't think I ever have been, but this would be When the Sun Goes Down, Kenny Chesney and Uncle Kracker. It's
I love Uncle Kracker.
Straight off of country music radio.
He had like 2 pretty good popular songs when we
He
were
did,
young,
yeah.
right?
He had that song about an affair.
Yeah, the one about the affair. Yes,
Follow
the
Me.
one where he has an affair called Follow Me. Yes, very great song.
Well, he's not having an affair. He's the other man. But it's
Uncle Kracker.
yeah. When the Sun Goes Down, Kenny
Chesney.
Chesney and Uncle Kracker.
Kenny Chesney's a pretty big. He's a pretty big country star, right?
Yeah, not so much anymore, but he was a lot bigger. Super catchy, and it takes you. You're just sitting on a beach drinking a margarita, having a good time. Your standard country song of that sort of
on
type.
The beach.
Yeah, kind of a Jimmy Buffett knockoff. It's 2 people sitting on the beach drinking, resting all day so they can party all night.
Wait, it's like a song about like, oh, we're gonna get ready to party.
Yeah.
That's so nice. That's so
resting
funny.
up for the night before, because when the sun comes down, we'll be back for more.
So it's like the preceding song to the pop song later.
I guess,
just like, wow, let's get some rest. Let's sit on the beach.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's a song about drinking margaritas on the beach. There's no real... It's about a mood.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Music for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of people hate it.
Okay, number 1. Guilty
Oh, yeah. Song. So this one, I'm not guilty about it, or ashamed, I think is a better word, but I would maybe be embarrassed to be caught listening to it. Mm-hmm. All the Good Girls Go to Hell by Billie Eilish.
But a leaders on vacation, an open invitation, animals, evidence. Pearly gates look more like a picket fence. Once you get inside them, got friends but can't invite them.
Oh.
It's off her new album.
Yes, she's so young.
Is very well produced. Shout out to her brother who produced it. Super good song.
Right.
Like, All the Good Girls Go to Hell is a bop.
It is a bop.
You just kind of...
It is.
You kind of...
It slaps. It
nod
really
to
does.
It slaps.
It does.
I think she's one of the better forces in pop right now.
Yeah.
Since, like, maybe a decade ago, you had, like, Marina and the Diamonds hitting it big.
Yes.
That kind of whole... She paved the way, I feel like, for a lot of these sad female vocalists.
Lana Del Rey.
Lana Del Rey is another huge force.
She's the queen, kind of.
And then you had like Melanie Martinez coming in.
I feel like Lana Del Rey created the idea of being sad in the summer.
Yeah. Lana Del Rey does it her own way, though, for sure.
She does.
But this kind of like super produced sound, you hear that more and more, and that's definitely what this song is.
Awesome. So these are 3 pretty good songs. I'll throw them on the playlist. And then this is when I don't ask people until they get here. I want you to name the song that's been like stuck in your head all week.
Roadhouse Blues.
Roadhouse Blues by
The Doors.
I'll keep your eyes on the road, you hand upon the wheel.
The Doors. Ooh, good
You've
band.
heard it. You've heard it.
Great band.
Keep your eyes on the
Great
road.
song.
Keep your hands upon the wheel.
Pretty good, pretty good.
But you've probably heard that. Even if you don't remember hearing it, you've heard the song before.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I love The Doors. Like, you can definitely tell Ray Manzarek is a trained pianist. Like, he knows what he's doing. I mean, the Beatles, yes, they didn't know how to read sheet music. They learned how to play, guitar, bass kind of on their own. And that's great. They were all obviously amazing. But, like, Jim Morrison knew how to sing. He knew how to write just inherently, but he had these people who were just professionals. I mean, Ray, I can't talk enough about him. And you know it's a Doors song when you hear him playing the keys.
A great song. Love the solo.
All right, so we're kind of at the end of it here, but before we go, I want to ask you the whole point of this podcast, which is to either name 1 album you love with all your heart, or 5 that you would love people to listen to.
That is Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino by Arctic Monkeys. I mean, you can say their first 2 albums, I think, sound the same.
Okay, yes.
And we're talking Monkeys here.
Right.
Their 3rd album...
The Arctic Monkeys. Not the Monkeys.
Not the Monkeys. Their 3rd album definitely takes a turn for the darker. Their 4th album is like 50s pop, kind of synth, glam rock almost.
But that's the one that hit it big, though. That's the one that made
No,
them...
not yet. That was their 5th one.
Oh, shit.
Their 5th one was like kind of the neighborhood type. AM.
Yeah,
it
that
was
was
like,
the big one.
That was the big one.
Everyone was like, "Oh, Arctic Monkey."
We're gonna stick with Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino though.
Yes, the album.
So good, so good. The production is incredible, especially if you can wear it with headphones. The details in the production are incredible. Like, it just creates this lush feeling. They use a bunch of very creative sounds.
Right.
I would listen to every song on the album except for Golden Trunks, because I don't think it sounds very good. But if you hate Donald Trump, you can listen to it because it's kind of like a anti-Donald Trump song. But yeah, so production good in a lot of the songs. Other times, you can tell they're kind of taking a creative risk and it doesn't exactly pay off.
But that's admirable.
Mostly, She Looks Like Fun. You have to really keep an open mind for that one. I love it because there's a great guitar solo. It's like a dual solo. They trade off. He uses a lot of very old throwback sci-fi sounds from like sci-fi movies from the 50s.
Cool.
The lyrics are incredible, as to be expected. And I like it because you can tell that they're making what they want to make, regardless of how it's going to sound. Like, they could have, because AM was their biggest album.
It was.
And they made bank on it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even more than they had been making before. They could have easily put, because that's what the fans wanted, was another one of that. But they didn't cater to that at all. They went way off the deep end.
Literally.
It's barely even rock. But I
like it when artists kind of like transverse or transverse genres.
They push themselves.
At least they try.
They push themselves.
It's admirable.
Personally, I think people are going to look back at this album and see it as one of the best albums in the genre of rock.
Whatever, yeah.
Of the second decade of the 2010 to 2020.
It'll age well, I think.
I think it will.
Even if it's not, I don't think it was Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino. Was not very popular when it came out, right? Because everyone was like, "Oh, come on."
It's not that
popular.
But
I think it'll age on people.
I think it will. I mean, yeah.
It'll grow on them.
Yeah. And then last thing I'll touch on is the theme, because if you pay attention to the lyrics, some of them are coming. I mean, they mean something to him, obviously, but there's no way to really nail down what they mean, which is a beautiful thing.
Is it one of those albums? I know a lot of albums have like stories and they're kind of pieces of art on their own. Is this kind of one of those albums?
Yeah. The idea of it is that there's no real narrative, but it all takes place in this setting. Okay. There are some aspects of the setting that are similar. The setting is way in the future, but not so far, because you never know how technology can go. Where the moon has been colonized a while ago, and now it's being gentrified. They
mentioned that in the song?
Yeah. I mean, well, Tranquility Base is the base that they landed on the moon.
Oh, right.
And it's basically been gentrified, and there's this, it's a hotel and casino, you're just kind of there to live kind of a fantasy life, right?
I like this hot take that, Alex Turner is writing about the colonization and gentrification of the moon.
Yeah.
I like that. No, wow, go
He's
off.
really good. He's really good.
That brings into the music as culture, I'm just saying. Turns out colonization and gentrification has happened a few times before in our history.
She looks like fun. I mean, it was based
Scary.
on his girlfriend. Alex Turner's girlfriend was being harassed on social media for being his girlfriend, basically. And that was,
Gotta love preteen girls. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, this is probably more of well, who knows who said it, but you can kind of picture somebody in the comments being like, "Oh, she looks like fun," in a very sort of like,
for sure,
innuendo kind of way.
Hashtag sexism. Yay.
Yeah.
Yay.
And he has this. After that really horrible sounding part, it goes into this very beautiful, lush stuff, and he starts talking about kind of Instagram culture.
Really? Wow. This is a modern take album.
It goes like it's got this lush sound, and he comes in. Smile like you've got a straw in something tropical. I've got the party plugged right into my skull. After this lush part, it's another, it goes back into that kind of nasty sounding part, and he starts yelling senselessness. He'll be like, cheeseburger, screwballing, dog sitting, like they make no sense. They were all captions from his girlfriend's Instagram.
Wow.
And he just starts screaming them because he's like, this makes no sense. See how what I'm saying makes no sense? That's the album of my summer last summer.
Good. Well, thank you so much for being on the show, dude.
No problem. Had a great time.
All right, that about does it for us for the day. Thanks again to Nick Murner for coming in to chat with me, and I'll leave a link to both the top 20 Weed songs and start off our huge playlist containing every song you hear on here. Thanks for listening. I'm Abby Hanna, and you'll hear me next time on Name 5 Albums.